Hello, I'm John Kraft.
Kirk Allen.
We're the Edgar County Watchdogs. We're going to do our recap of some of the things we wrote about in 2017.
Boy, there was a lot of it, wasn't there?
Yeah, and since education and school boards is a hot topic right now, let's start off with our Regional Office of Education and our Regional Superintendent, Monty Newland. Well, not ours, but south of us. That includes Jasper County and Richland County. We wrote an article about how he was using public credit cards for his private and personal purchases.
Which he admitted to during the audit investigation of that.
Yeah, I made up excuses. None of them work. He still broke the law. Can't unrob a bank. Shelbyville Township Electoral Board. Wow.
Whole board disqualified themselves from serving on the objection hearing hearing case.
Two College of Trustee candidate petition challenge. One results in charges being filed against the candidate for forgery on the petitions. What?
That one, that gal actually copied one sheet of signatures and had them notarized separately.
Had somebody else notarize the
Yeah.
copy of the signature.
So it basically doubled the signatures she had, and it was turned into the state's attorney, and they filed felony criminal charges against her.
Is that, I guess that's still pending?
That's still pending, yep.
Bloomington City Council tried deleting somebody's curse word from their meeting video, and they also had found a FOIA violation along with our writing about their censoring the meeting video. They finally provided the complete video, but what's on their website is censored.
So they altered the public record.
Correct. Lyle Community Unit School District number 202. They had this crazy, and we'll get back to this when we talk about Effingham County Board, this crazy rules that you acknowledge when you watch the video that you can't copy it and you can't edit it anywhere, and you had to get their permission in order to use it. Wrong answer. It took one letter to their superintendent and they got rid of that.
Yep.
So at least at least they listen to people.
Shimkus, Congressman Shimkus failed to gain chairmanship of Energy and Commerce Committee. Boy, they were insistent that they had to vote for him because he had seniority, he was going to get that position.
And he didn't get it.
He didn't get it.
Orland Park, still frivolous spending. Rides Mass Transit District lawsuit against Edgar County.
That's still going on.
That's still going on. It was dismissed with leave to refile. Rides refiled. What they're trying to do is they're trying to claim that the money left over from the dissolution and sale of East Central Illinois Mass Transit District assets belonged to Rides Mass Transit when the law, the statute governing those transit districts, tells them what to do with the money, and that is give it to the county to put in the general fund.
Now that's the same mass transit that those two gals just got convicted on, wasn't it?
Yes, and that's later on down here.
Okay.
Law Enforcement Training Standard Board. You want to cover that?
Yeah, their training materials were, let's just say, a little outdated, to say the least. Several board members not even attending meetings, Lisa Madigan being one of them. By law, she's on that board, and she's never attended a meeting. So they're having.
Weren't they sending replacements to the meeting
in their proxy?
To vote?
Yep, in their proxy. Well, we got that stopped. The attorney said they can't be doing that, even though they had done it for years. Now those are the people out there training our cops, and they just create whatever rules they want to do.
Clark County Park District Director and their former director submitted her second resignation. There's still questions on those financial transactions.
That's the one that didn't deposit like $90,000, had it sitting there in the safe
Yeah,
for 6 months or so.
yeah. Country Club Hills Fire Protection District.
Oh, that's the porno freaks. Computers absolutely filled with pornography. They got a sexual harassment case going on up there. And I predict that'll be an out-of-court settlement, and that woman will be rich, and she'll own that department financially. The evidence on that one is just overwhelming. They actually tried to cover it up.
So we did 2 or 3, maybe 4 watchdog training sessions. WCIA reported on one of them, and there were several others. One they reported on, was that in Springfield or Champaign?
I think we did one up in Champaign, where they showed up, and then the one on the porn web searches, that was Iroquois County and the Health Department.
Yeah.
That forensic audit on that, they covered that one.
IDOT and Kankakee Airport Authority. So we were tipped off that an airport commissioner had voted or had taken a contract to re-roof the airport buildings when he was on the airport authority board.
What's wrong with that?
It's a conflict of interest. Violates the Public Officers Privilege Activities Act. Their attorney said it was okay, the airport authority attorney.
They're both gone.
We turned it into IDOT, ask IDOT to follow the law, which means IDOT, according to the statute, had to demand a hearing on why that person should remain in office. Before we got to the hearing, he resigned and he took the attorney with him. Wheeling Mayor Argyris, he used the city police vehicle for his private business. He used it for his employment at a funeral home, which just happens to be the only funeral home in the state with a liquor license now. No conflict of interest there.
No, not at all.
And
considering the mayor is the liquor commissioner.
and he was using city credit cards to purchase alcohol and go party for his personal business and his private personal business. And we published the fact that he was formerly charged with some type of prostitution arrest for $20.
He's out of office now. He lost that election.
That's right.
The public said enough's enough.
We beat the Clark County Park District in the appellate court like we knew we would, because you have to have faith in at least the appellate or Supreme Court, even if you don't have faith in the circuit court. We got our butts handed to us in the circuit court, appealed it, and won with unanimous decision, and that was over their Open Meetings Act violation. We submitted an amicus brief to Supreme Court on a FOIA case.
Yeah, that was with Liberty Justice, and it dealt with the legislators changed the law to try to make it retroactive, that the certain document that was available under FOIA is no longer subject to FOIA between their court cases.
But they didn't backdate the effective date.
Right. So that one's still pending.
College of DuPage Foundation attorney attacked us in the appellate court.
That was comical.
Attacked us and the Chicago Tribune. The appellate court judge basically said,
You
I don't know
want
what
to spend
you
your
did.
if you want to spend your time on that matter, go for it.
you want to attack them guys in court, you're still burning up your time.
Yep.
They lost in the appellate court. COD Foundation did, and the Tribune won.
Yep. Which means the foundation is subject to FOIA, and those people under that memorandum would constitute them as being public officials.
You can cover Shelbyville.
Shelbyville, they're the poster child for tax and fund balance reform. What we found there was just unbelievable. Exposed it, the public spoke, they replaced the whole board, and it looks like they'll be the first township in the state of Illinois to actually rebate excess funds that they have been collecting, which the amount was just compelling. It was unbelievable. Enough so that they actually changed the law to limit how much townships can stockpile. Illegal donations, same deal there. That's springboarded into numerous township exposures. All kinds of funds just being given away to anybody that asked. But Shelbyville citizens stepped up and fixed that one.
Suing Carlinville. There's at least 4 active FOIA lawsuits. 2 with me, 1 from Rob Bogue and 1 from Lisa Thomas.
They wanted us to settle. We've never heard back on that, have we?
Apparently their attorney apparently their attorney tried to convince Carlinville that we asked to settle and not him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's a new one.
So anyway, we want crazy things like credit card statements, meeting minutes,
Well, there's nothing done wrong, so what's the big deal?
training certificates for when they took their Open Meetings Act training, those things that are really too hard to provide.
And they still
And they're
haven't
willing to
provided
spend tens of thousands of dollars trying not to give it to us. We'll get it.
it. Yep, Randy
One.
Peterson.
Oh, he was arrested in Indianapolis.
Who is Randy Peterson?
He was the former state rep candidate, former county Republican chairman, former on the board of director of the Paris Chamber of Commerce.
A lot of formers in there.
Yeah, well, he was arrested in Indianapolis, and then later on he got a DUI in what is it, Vermilion County, Indiana.
Yep.
Then he got arrested for basically wife beating in Paris. And then but he was on probation from his DUI arrest in Indiana when he got arrested in Paris. And now Indiana wants to revoke his probation. He goes to court in January or February. We sued Coles County for FOIA, and they settled out of court real fast.
It's amazing how fast they give you the records once you sue them. ILETSB, Illinois Law Enforcement Training Standard Board. They are supposed to approve all academy directors statewide. Can you believe they have never approved one until we intervened?
Now they're all approved.
Now they're all approved. Just one swell sweep. But all these years, they've never done their statutory duty and approved a director until we started demanding answers to questions we uncovered at College of DuPage. It's unbelievable.
I was threatened by an Iroquois County board member during a meeting.
Well,
That was funny.
that was funny. That was a good one.
LaSalle County State's Attorney loses the election, loses a Supreme Court case, and charged with 14 or 15 felonies.
He got smoked.
All in 1 year.
Yep.
Joe Ewing,
Oh,
when after the election this past spring, when a new majority was obviously taking over the Clark County Park District Board, one of the new members texted Mr. Ewing and said, "Congratulations on your election," because he won the election too.
he didn't like that.
And he texted back, "Shove that congrats up your A."
Yep. Great example there, Mr. Ewing.
Bloomington Election Commission shut their meeting down a couple times because they didn't think they had to comply with the Open Meetings Act.
Yep.
Whiteside County Airport Board members resign, attorney quits.
All over following the law.
Yeah,
They didn't want to do
thought
that.
they could hire their own attorney when the state's attorney's a statutory.
And they never have hired another attorney, have they?
No, but the state's attorney's doing the job. He just hadn't said that he's doing the job. Coles County commercial assessments, Coles County's being sued. We covered most of that because of, hiring of the assessment person. There's lots of things that did wrong. We encourage you to look at our website. NIU, slammed by the state auditor, slammed by the OEIG. President resigns, and an Open Meetings Act lawsuit prevailed against the university for the way they handled his severance package.
Allerton Mayor.
Alton Mayor Joanne Reed.
She's the gift that keeps giving when it comes to
She was
news
removed
articles.
from office for bringing contraband into a penal institution. Convicted, charged, removed from office. Her record was
Expunged.
dismissed because of a first-time drug offense. Now she runs for mayor again. In the process, she gets charged with vote buying votes in a run-up for the election. She wins the election.
Still pending charges.
And now she gets charged with official misconduct.
Yep, she was arrested, I believe was it September they charged her?
Yeah. And I believe this official misconduct has something to do with the fact that one of the city vehicles
Showed up at a crime scene,
was
wasn't it?
involved in a drive-by shooting in Missouri.
No, clarify that the vehicle was involved in it. We're not saying she was involved in it.
Right, that's what I said, one of the city
I
vehicles.
just want to make sure we
Troubles
clarify
in
that.
Nauvoo. False statements of economic interest, an alderwoman talking about tar and feathering in a majority Mormon community.
That didn't go over real well. Oh, that was the one that threatened us, wasn't it?
Yeah, she threatened us too.
That didn't work either.
Okay, in La Harpe, Illinois, their mayor used a backhoe for half an hour or less to dig a hole on his foundation to do some water line work.
Well, he
And
paid for it,
somebody snatched a picture.
but he paid for the rental of it. He gave a $50 donation to the town.
Somebody
Use
snapped
of
the
backhoe.
picture. We wrote an article. State attorney in Hancock County charged him with felony official misconduct, and then he resigned from office.
Yep.
We launched American Watchdogs, 501c3, with the sole purpose of educating others and assisting others to form small organizations like the Edgar County Watchdogs and assist them in doing similar to what we're doing now.
And we've trained how many people so far?
400 or 500.
400 or 500 people?
Launched GovPlates.com. It currently has Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio license plates of government vehicles. So if you're a city or water district in Illinois, you see an M plate or a U plate, generally, parked in front of a bar, a shopping mall.
Or a moose lodge, like Limestone Township
Or a
Road
moose
Commissioner?
lodge, you can just type it in our database, and boom, it tells you who it belongs to. Then you know who to complain to.
Yep.
Jasper County exceeds their authority. They issued a cease and desist, sanctions a board member, makes a false 911 call, and gets sued in federal court.
Well, they piled it up fast, didn't they?
Yeah, well, it went throughout the year. Didn't all happen last week. Stark County Board. Wow. That's all I still say when I think of Stark County is wow.
Yeah,
How did that happen?
we advised the state's attorney what our intentions were prior to the meeting, and he basically nodded in agreement and talked to the sheriff and told him what our position was. And when they continued to take action outside their authority, the sheriff shut the meeting down just as we predicted would happen. And in fact, I think the chairman,
Two or three board members quit.
yeah, she since resigned, and the other one that refused to let us talk, which we talked anyway, she resigned as well.
J.D. Kessler, former Edgar County Airport board member, charged and pled guilty to voter fraud. Was initially, what he did was he voted in Indiana when he actually lived in Illinois.
Yep, it was a voter fraud case. Originally it was felony charge, and then they pled it down as a misdemeanor instead of going to court, but he did have a guilty plea.
The Effingham mayor resigned from IDOC. We exposed his misuse of government vehicle. He used Illinois Department of Corrections vehicle to do his work as a mayor. And we exposed it, and then he resigns from IDOC.
He's still the mayor.
He's still the mayor. We won an AG complaint against Parkland Community College. They held an illegal meeting, an illegal emergency meeting, after the election to try to keep one of the newly elected people from,
Who was the attorney in that one?
the same one from Clark County Park District.
That's the one we beat in the appellate court too, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and the issue there was, we agreed with the attorney that that elected person couldn't hold an elected seat on the board and be a member of the faculty of the college. What we disagreed was they held an emergency meeting
Yeah, that wasn't an
after
emergency.
the election to talk about it, when they had months before the election to talk about what they should do if she won the election, but they waited, and it was their fault. AG said it was not an emergency.
Yep.
We sued Sawyerville for FOIA violations. They just sent me a letter, said they're not sending anything.
Oh, really?
And then they called, said, hey, we're not giving you anything. Okay, thanks, see you in court. Terry Renner from Bloomington, the Bloomington mayor. Diane Benjamin exposed him for using public credit on girlfriend's travel and expenses to Japan when he was not a member of the delegation to go. She was not a member to go to the delegation.
ISP's investigating that one. I wonder how long it takes them to confirm that.
They already know the answer.
Yeah, they know the answer. It was private use of the credit card.
FSG painters fined by Illinois Department of Labor for not paying prevailing wages. That was a Clark County Park District issue with their former director.
Illinois Arts Council, FOIA violations. Wait, who runs the Illinois Arts Council?
Shirley Madigan.
That would be
You might recognize that last
Mike
name.
Madigan's wife, right?
Yeah,
Yep. They settled on that one, if I recall.
yep, gave us documents and settled. Exposed Bill Thomas, Atlanta Library District trustee, and we're not done with that one yet. There's a hearing at the state library
Next month?
in January, I think it's 14th.
Yeah, State Library demanded Atlanta Library repay the grant money because of his conflict of interest, which everybody up there said that we're wrong, that there's no conflict of
Yeah.
interest.
Secretary of State thought we were right.
Yep.
Clark Acre Water District office manager quits or gets fired over questionable accounting practices. We still don't know the answer to that one yet. Limestone Township Road Commissioner.
Boy, that, back up to the govplates.com. Nothing
That's
like,
the reason we started that website.
nothing like using the township vehicle to go to the Moose Lodge and do whatever you do at the Moose Lodge late at night.
That's right.
But he ended up having to take that truck back and pay some money out of his own pocket because he bought it illegally.
Had to take it back to the dealership and pay the difference in depreciation.
Yep.
Former Lincoln Way Superintendent
Indicted on felonies, 6 felonies, I
Lawrence
believe.
Wiley.
Highest paid superintendent in the state of Illinois. And if this goes as we predict it'll go, the taxpayers won't be paying his pension anymore if he's convicted.
Cammie Miller and Ashley Miller both plead guilty in federal court of crimes against the people of Edgar and Clark County.
That was one of the first stories we wrote about, 6 years ago, and everybody said we were
East
nuts.
Central Illinois Mass Transit District, and we didn't have any idea what we were talking about. Well, guess what? They pled guilty.
Yep.
The Village of Stanford's attorney, in an effort to bully a local landowner
And take their land.
and take their land, initially, quite a few years ago, they did, and we've got all the records, they did a temporary easement so the city could run some water line and do some work, and then the easement expired. Well, the Stanford's attorney
5 years later.
went and did a scrivener's error, removed all the words temporary and replaced it with permanent.
I call that straight up theft.
That's against the law and it's theft. And something will pop on that in 2018. 111 count indictment against former Bloomington Coliseum contractor employee Diane Benjamin. Uncovered that one. 111 counts.
And they all said she was nuts when she kept screaming, the Coliseum is not paying us what we're supposed to be getting.
Well, she was nuts. She didn't have the theft amount high enough.
Yep.
She only talked about $1 million. It actually been 2, 3, or 4 alleged. Fosterburg Water District, Carlinville, Jersey County Rural Water. That's an ongoing issue. They don't have the power to start a regional nonprofit water company. It's not going to happen. Fosterburg Partygate. Fosterburg Water District thought they could go to Missouri and party down on Super Bowl weekend and charge it to the taxpayer, including all the alcohol. Sandra Pijos, you want that one?
Yeah, she's the former state rep and former COD trustee candidate charged with shoplifting up in DuPage County. Pretty amazing.
Jeannie Ives?
Jeannie Ives, state representative, she's running for governor in a primary against Governor Rauner. Then here local, Martinsville, girls basketball coach Barry Wolf, arrested and charged with at least 13 counts of criminal sexual abuse of a minor. What is it with these educators that continue to be exposed doing this? At what point do we curb this behavior?
What's the issue with parents? And according to one of the newspaper articles that wrote on this and interviewed some of the parents said, well, we knew something was happening several years ago when our daughter went to an away game and her friends told her, don't go to his room by yourself. Take one of us with you if he asked.
Several years ago?
Several years
And it's
ago.
just now getting brought to light. What kind of parents sit on that kind of information?
Because they can go to college on a basketball scholarship. NIU former law professor resigns after founded complaints of what is written in the record as severe and pervasive sexual harassment. And he sued to try to keep those complaints from the public.
That didn't work. Algonquin Township, oh, what a mess that is. That outgoing road commissioner, everything from wiped hard drives to records concealed. Did you catch the payout he got for sick days? Claimed he had 260 some sick days to get paid for.
From 20 years ago.
Well, that was one of the charges that Wiley got. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Illegal sick days. I wonder if the feds will charge him for illegal sick day compensation.
Des Plaines School Superintendent Floyd Williams quits after allegations of misconduct, the same type that followed him from his previous job at a school district. And this school board says they knew about that when they hired him. Former McLean County Board Chairman sentenced in federal court for theft from, was it State Farm?
I think it was State Farm, yep, committed fraud.
Champaign County Supervisor of Assessments, within weeks of him taking that job as an interim supervisor of assessments, he started using the credit card
Well, it's only $1,300 or $1,400, wasn't
and
it?
buying things, like
He paid it back,
food and tickets to Illini games.
but he paid it back.
You're right. Effingham County Board meeting videotaping rules.
I think Effingham County probably will get the 2017, we gotta come up with an award for this. I mean, what do you call
We
it?
talked about that in the first part. What township did that one?
One of the school districts trying to say you couldn't edit their video.
CUSD 202.
Yeah, well, Effingham now passed a policy that, you cannot edit the video that you take at their meeting. And
Wrong answer.
It has to be kept in its entirety and subject to subpoena and blah, 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 blah. No, they are so wrong, it's unbelievable. Have they forgotten people's property rights? You go to a public meeting and you video, you own the video, you can't.
But they went to a training session, and they have the right to make rules.
Who did the training?
Good question.
I think
We
that
should
was,
FOIA that.
I think it was the training that the state's attorney provided to officials in the county.
Well, he should have defined what make rules mean.
Yep.
Kankakee meeting minute problems. The new mayor seems to not be able to get meeting minutes approved and posted on their website of meetings where things don't happen, or that things that she wants to keep from the general public. So there's 3 meetings in a row where the meeting minutes haven't been approved or placed on their website, but before and after that, there are meeting minutes approved and placed on the website. Prisoner Review Board member. False statement of economic interest when it says name of local government that employed you in the previous calendar year.
You're supposed to list the.
That's what it means.
Yeah. He didn't put anything on it.
Use of state vehicle for electioneering. He drove Prisoner Review Board vehicle to the courthouse to deliver his packets for candidate for the position of precinct committee.
He's Coles County GOP chairman, isn't he?
And then he used the N-word when he was a deputy, and it was written in his records in 2015.
Not once, but
Twice.
twice.
And you know what? If it's bad enough to get written up for it, that wasn't the first time. You and I both know that.
Yep. And still haven't heard back from the governor's office on comment on that, so we don't know if he's still on the prisoner review board or not.
Assessors, tax assessors, statewide, what about that one?
Well, thanks to the Coles County situation that we worked on, things moved forward and identified 35 counties with 55 illegal assessors. Assessors that got on the ballot without the proper credentials to even be placed on the ballot. Now that's a systemic failure,
Yeah,
but that's township government for you.
that's the way we've always done it.
Yep.
Well, that's it for 2017.
2018 is going to be interesting.
That's right.
But you all have a happy and safe new year.
Thanks.